you mentioned W-9s and now being the time to get W-9s from your contractors. Can you explain, just take a step back, if this is their first time hearing about what a W-9 is, how do you know that you need to get a W-9 from somebody?
So if you are a business owner and if you pay someone to provide services to you, and you pay them over $600 in a year, you are required to issue them a 1099. Okay. And on the 1099, it's going to have their name, address, and their employer identification number or their social security number. You get that information by having them complete a W-9. A W-9 is for contractors, similar to a W-4 being for employees. Right? When you start a job, you get a W-4. They request that you fill out a W-4 before you get your first paycheck. As business owners, we need to make that part of our onboarding process, or part of our doing business process, because people are more apt to give you a W-9 or to give you that information when they want a check, right? Before you pay them.
Over 50% of Black Americans are unmarried, and only 2% of Black families in America have a net worth over $1 million.
We are on our journey to not only join that 2%, but grow that 2%.
Facts. I'm Devon Travell, creator of Black Wall Street, the board game, with my beautiful co-host.
I'm Sinclair, aka the Health Nerd. You can go to our website at them4show.com, our Instagram at them4show, and our YouTube channel at Melanated Married Millionaires in the Making.
And welcome to the M4 Show.
So just some important dates to remember. Coming up, we are in November. Just want to say that now is tax planning season. Couple things. So it's tax planning season. Now is the time to be making adjustments in your 2022 taxes, finances, knowing what your numbers are in order to change that now, because you can't do that in January. The other thing is that this is the last week to file your return electronically. The IRS shuts down every year from the middle of November to the beginning of January. And during that time, you can't file your return electronically. So everything just sits there. So if you haven't filed your 2021 return, or your 2020, even your 2019, make a rush to your tax preparer and try to get that information in as soon as possible. Filing it electronically, it just makes it so much easier. If you're expecting a refund, you're going to get your refund faster. And you don't want to have more paperwork that sits in the backlog that the IRS has. So the important dates: fourth quarter estimates are due January 17th. January 31st, 1099s are due. February 1st, 1099s are due to the IRS. 3/15 is the S Corp and partnership due date. And then April 18th is the individual and corporate returns due date. And I know we're talking 2023, but you still need to prepare in 2022. And just, talking about the 1099s that need to go out to the individuals, now is the time to be getting the W-9s from your contractors to make sure that you have that information to put on the 1099s. You want to be doing things now in order to save you time and headaches when it comes to January. You should know what's going on in your business up until this point, to where you're just kind of finishing out the year. And when January starts, you start fresh on the new year, ready to go, instead of trying to catch up in 2023 for things that you didn't do in 2022. And that was a bar. Okay, next one.
Okay. We have our first question.
He said that was a bar.
That was a bar. I love it. We have our first question over here.
Look, we're gonna get right back into the amazing podcast. But if you didn't know, in 2017, we created Black Wall Street, the board game, because we thought more families needed to know about the history of Tulsa Black Wall Street. More families needed to know about the legacy of Black excellence left behind of Tulsa Black Wall Street, that we can own a Madam C.J. Walker Beauty Salon, we can have a Booker T. Washington High School, we can have an Uncle Steve's Barbecue, we can have a Renaissance man like Simon Berry, who had his own taxi service and bus service that got bought out by the city of Tulsa. We have brilliance in our DNA, and we wanted to make sure that your family can play a game that teaches them about this brilliance. So we have Black Wall Street, the board game right here. We had the first edition available in 2017 that got sold out. We're on the second edition right now, or you can get the beautiful masterpiece version of the game as well. It's up to you. Head to playblackwallstreet.com and get yourself Black Wall Street, the board game, to empower you, your family, and generations to come. Playblackwallstreet.com. Let's get back to the episode.
Okay. And so you mentioned W-9s and now being the time to get W-9s from your contractors. Can you explain, just take a step back, if this is their first time hearing about what a W-9 is, how do you know that you need to get a W-9 from somebody?
So if you are a business owner and if you pay someone to provide services to you, and you pay them over $600 in a year, you are required to issue them a 1099. Okay. And on the 1099, it's going to have their name, address, and their employer identification number or their social security number. You get that information by having them complete a W-9. A W-9 is for contractors, similar to a W-4 being for employees. Right? When you start a job, you get a W-4. They request that you fill out a W-4 before you get your first paycheck. As business owners, we need to make that part of our onboarding process, or part of our doing business process, because people are more apt to give you a W-9 or to give you that information when they want to check, right? Before you pay them. Once you pay them, once they're gone, it's hard to get that information. So, and then as a business owner, you should have your W-9 completed, signed, and in a PDF somewhere sitting, so that if you do business with someone and someone requests it, you just send it off to them. It shouldn't be a major process, right? It's the type of entity, your name, again, the business name, social security number or social security number or EIN, and the address and the type of entity. And then the other thing with a 1099 is that business owners are not required to issue it to corporations. So that's part of the information that's put on that form as well, the entity type. So you'll, as a business owner issuing it, you'll know if someone is a 1090, if they're a corporation, that you won't have to send one to them. But it's better to get the information from everyone than to need it and not have it.
So primarily, if they're operating their business as a sole proprietor or an LLC, is where you would need to get the W-9 from them.
The W-9 from them, and you pay them over $600.
Okay.
Same thing with, talking $600, the 1099Ks, the conversation is PayPal and Venmo are going to start issuing 1099Ks to people that pay out more than, or that have, I guess it's like they process more than $600, right? So, my thing is, you're supposed to report all of your income anyway, and you're supposed to be tracking it. So it shouldn't be a big deal if you issue a form. Your position should be reconciling that form to make sure that what they put on there matches what you have in your books.
Right.
Okay. So that's how I look at it. I recommend to everyone to link their bank account to their accounting software, and you run everything through your bank account and your credit cards and have it all going into the accounting software. And so you know where your money is coming from, you know where it's going out to. And so it's just a matter of checking the information at the end of the year and not trying to get over. Even with Zelle, Zelle is a transfer between bank accounts. Some people are saying that that's a loophole where you won't get a 1099K, but what difference does it matter if you get a 1099K? If you provided the service or you received the money, just report it, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that's just
avoid getting in trouble with the IRS.
The other part about it is that the IRS is matching, so if you receive a 1099 from someone, but you have different information, how do you know that information that's like I said, how do you know that information is correct if you're not tracking it? Right. And if you go and you file your return and you say that you had $10,000 of income, but someone reported that they paid you $20,000, the IRS is going to come back at you. So you just want to make sure that you're tracking everything and that you're reporting everything.
All right. Thank you. Thank you for that clarification. I know we got questions over here, but if y'all have any questions, if you're watching and you have questions as we're going, we're giving she's giving a lot of game here. Right. Make sure you drop your questions in the comments and we'll pop them up and she'll be able to answer them.
Thank you for supporting the M4 show and our mission to increase the wealth of Black families.
If you received any value from this episode, any value at all, any, do us a favor and give us a like and subscribe on YouTube and Apple, Spotify, anything, all of them, all of them, wherever you're listening, go ahead and like and subscribe.
And after you like and subscribe, make sure you send this episode to at least one family that you really want to see win. We'll catch y'all next time. Peace.